All right, are you ready to absolutely crush your state licensing exam? Well, you've come to the right place. Today, we're going to laser focus on one of the most foundational and, believe me, most tested topics out there, the insurance application. Let's get right into it.
So, here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to talk about why this all matters. Then, we'll walk through the whole process from start to finish. After that, we'll open up the terminology vault. You know, all those key legal terms you have to know. Then, we'll decode some of the exam's biggest traps, and finally, we'll wrap up with a super fast drill to make sure it all sticks. Let's do this.
Okay, let's just set the stage here for a second. Look, this isn't just about passing some test, right? This is about building a career where you actually protect people. And believe it or not, it all begins with the very first document you're going to handle as a professional.
I want you to picture this. You've got the Millers sitting right across the desk from you. They've poured their heart, soul, and savings into their new business. See, they're not just clients on a spreadsheet. They're family, and they are literally trusting you with their dreams. Your very first act as a professional agent, the first step you take to safeguard their entire future, is getting that insurance application filled out perfectly.
So, the big question is, how does that piece of paper turn into a real, solid promise of protection? Let's follow the journey, step by step, from a simple form to a legally binding contract.
Okay, so first things first, you and your client fill out the application together. That document then goes straight to underwriting. Now this is where the insurer's team does their homework. They verify all the info and figure out the level of risk. From there, they'll classify that risk. You know, is it preferred, standard, or maybe even substandard? That classification is what decides the premium. Once it gets the green light, the company issues the actual policy. And then it's back to you for the final and super important job, delivering that policy and making sure your client gets what it all means.
And this right here is why every single box, every single line matters so much. You see, an incomplete application, it doesn't just look unprofessional. It literally grinds the entire process to a screeching halt. And what does that mean? It means your client is left unprotected and, you can bet, pretty frustrated.
Okay, exam alert. Listen up, because you are definitely going to see questions on this. So let's lock in these key points right now. First, the application is the underwriter's #1 tool. If it's missing information, the whole process just stops, dead in its tracks. Second, if you have to make any changes, the applicant has to initial every single one, no exceptions. And finally, and this is a big one, it's not a valid document without signatures from both you and the applicant. Got it?
Now here's a really crucial point. The policy is just a piece of paper until the client pays that first premium. That payment has a legal name you need to know. It's called consideration. It's basically their side of the bargain. So when you collect that first check, you always provide a receipt. That little piece of paper is the official proof of when their coverage actually started.
All right, time to open up the terminology vault. Look, to pass this exam, you've got to speak the language of insurance law. It's that simple. So let's break down some of the key terms that honestly trip up almost everybody.
Exam alert. You need to pay really close attention to this one because it's a classic. Let's talk warranties versus representations. Think of a warranty as a sworn promise. It's something that is guaranteed to be absolutely 100% true. If it turns out to be false, even a little bit, the insurer can just void the policy. Boom, done. Now, a representation is different. That's a statement that you believe is true, to the best of your knowledge. Almost everything on an application is a representation. Now, if a representation is wrong, the insurer can only void the policy if that mistake was material. And material just means it was so important that it would have changed their decision about offering the insurance in the first place.
Okay, next up, insurable interest. This is a huge one. It's a core principle of all insurance. All it means is that you have to have some sort of financial skin in the game. It's simple, really. You can insure your own house, right? Because if it burns down, you lose a ton of money. But you can't just decide to insure your neighbor's house because, well, you don't lose anything if it burns down. This whole principle is what stops people from using insurance like a lottery ticket.
And the last one in the vault for today is utmost good faith. Now this isn't just about being honest, like regular person honest. This is a much higher standard. It means that both sides, the applicant and the insurance company, have a legal duty to tell the whole truth about everything important. It's a two-way street, and you can think of it as the ethical bedrock that every single insurance contract is built on.
Okay, you've got the lingo down. So now let's talk strategy. See, the exam isn't just a test of what you know. It's also a test of whether you can spot the traps they lay for you. So let's decode one of the biggest ones. Exam alert.
Picture this question popping up on your test screen. An investor finds out someone is terminally ill. So this investor, a total stranger, goes and buys a massive life insurance policy on them, just waiting for the payout. So what do you think? Is this legal? Is that policy valid at all?
The answer is a huge, resounding no. No way. This is a classic example of something totally illegal. The exam has a couple of names for it, so know them both. STOLI, which stands for Stranger-Originated Life Insurance, or IOLI, which is Investor-Originated Life Insurance.
And here's the why behind it. This is a classic exam trap because it tests if you were paying attention to those core principles we just covered. Number one, there's zero insurable interest, right? The investor doesn't lose a dime if that person lives. Number two, the only reason the policy exists is so a stranger can profit from someone else's death. That's a huge violation of utmost good faith, and yep, it's considered straight-up fraud.
Okay, moving on from the application itself, you've got some major federal responsibilities as an agent. There are 3 big laws you absolutely need to know cold for the exam. First, the USA Patriot Act. Your job? Report any suspicious transactions that could be related to money laundering. Second, the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act. Just call it GLBA. This one's all about protecting your client's private financial info. You have to keep it safe. And third, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, or FCRA. This one says you must tell an applicant if a bad credit report is the reason they were denied or charged a higher premium.
Wow, we have covered a ton of ground. So now it's time to lock it all in. This is your 60-second drill. These are the 3 non-negotiable takeaways you need to have burned into your brain when you walk into that testing center. You ready?
Number 1, the application is not just paperwork. It is a legal document. Accuracy and completeness are not optional. They are the foundation of the entire contract, period.
Number 2, the entire world of insurance runs on utmost good faith. It's the guiding principle for everything. You and your client both have a legal and an ethical duty to be totally transparent about all the important facts.
And number 3, know your regulations. FCRA, GLBA, the Patriot Act. These aren't just annoying rules to memorize for a test. They are federal laws with very serious consequences. Messing this up isn't just an exam mistake, it could be breaking the law.
So, there you have it. That's the blueprint. You now know what it takes to master the application and the laws that surround it. But the real question is, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to use this knowledge not just to pass some tests, but to become the kind of pro that a family like the Millers can put their absolute trust in for a lifetime? Now go make it happen.